Hello, this is Dr. Paul Cottrell, and I'm going to be doing a new series here, and it's going to be called Gen Zero. And the concept of Gen Zero is to transcend the concept of generations. We know about the baby boomers and the boomer generation, Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, Gen Alpha, right? But there is this concept that's starting to emerge in the longevity world, and the anti-aging world, where you have the idea that you're going to transcend other generations, and that as time continues on, that people will there's going to be a group of people that won't die as fast as, let's say, the rest of the population. And that over time, there's going to be more, it will be more prevalent for these long agers, all right, because of their anti-aging aspects to their life and their longevity aspects to their life. So this is going to be the start of a longer series. So you understand some of the thoughts that I have been having for the last few months here. Now, let me begin with this concept that mankind, you're going to have the standard scientific, and then you're going to have the biblical. In the standard scientific, the concept was is that man did not live very long life. You may have had some people that were centurions, but but it, beyond being 100 years old was definitely not prevalent, and going to 900 years would have been impossible. That's what the science is saying. Okay, now what if um, the Bible was right, where populations, let me should say, rephrase that individuals within a population had a farther lifespan, a longer lifespan, into hundreds of years. Okay. Now, people may say, well, it's biblical, so maybe is it solar or is it linear? And the years, may be calculated a little bit less or a little bit more, depending on, what's the interpretation, if it's based on a solar or a linear calendar. But the reality, at least from the biblical standpoint, is that people lived a long life, but it was declining from Adam. So you have these two trains of thought here. One train of thought is that mankind in in different epochs did live, for some few, but some people did live, about 100 or maybe a little bit more. But the far majority died at a very young age, either in infancy or in their 20s or 30s. They think that, early hunting and gathering societies, an old person would have been in their 40s. So, uh, that's where science is coming from. Now, from the Bible, age started to decline once Adam was Adam and Eve were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. All right. And there's a little bit of a story, for Adam. Adam was supposed to live for 1,000 years, but he ended up giving 70 of his years to King David. King David was supposed to be a stillborn, but because of the hyper intelligence, and keep in mind this word hyper intelligence or uber intelligence or super intelligence, because it's going to come up in our realm of AI. But this hyper intelligence that Adam had, he knew that there was going to be a stillborn that could have been a major leader for the Jewish people and help the establishment of the building of this temple. So Adam gave 70 of his years to the stillborn David so he could be king, so he could live a life in this realm where the temple could be established through his son Solomon. So this chart here starts with Adam, but it's less. He was supposed to live for 1,000 years, but he gave 70 of it to the stillborn in the future to King David. So other than Adam, the dates or the years of life are in descending order based on different people in the Bible. The highlight are the three important characters that I put up. The first highlight is Adam, which is 930 years. Then there was Noah, which lived for 950 years. He lived actually a longer life than Adam. And then there was Abraham, who lived 175 years, and then Moses lived for 120 years. Okay, so now we don't know when Adam really, started, right? But it's in the the 6,000, roughly 6,000 BCE. Noah is around 5,000 BCE. And Abraham was 2,000 BCE. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Adam was around 6,000 BCE, or going based on biblical text, all right? Because there's this concept in the, through creationism versus evolution, right? So science is going to be based on evolution, and they're not necessarily mutually exclusive here, and I'll explain why. Adam in the Bible is around 6,000 BCE, lives for 1,000 years, almost 1,000 years, but had to give 70, or he gave 70 of those years to King David in the future. Then there's Noah at 5,000, Abraham at 175 years in for 20 BCE. And then there's Moses at 1,300 BCE. So there's this downward trajectory, okay? This downward trajectory has a similar, and I'll have to dig this up for a future video, has a similar dynamic that is related to energy levels at the subatomic particle level. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but there's a bigger story that's being told here, okay? Independent of if the Bible story is 100% historically fact, but there's a mathematical model that is being presented here, okay? So you have Abraham, you have Adam, that's at 930. You have Noah at 950. You have Abraham at 175, and you have Moses at 120. So there's this step function that's taking place. And these other people, are biblical characters, family members, sons of whatever. But I don't remember exactly who these are, but someone can easily Google this, and you can, find out all the major characters in the Bible and how long they lived. All right. But this is basically the trajectory. If you filter it from highest to lowest, but you leave the 930 as the starting point because that's Adam. Okay. That's the reason why Adam isn't below Noah, because I wanted to explain the reason that Adam was supposed to be 1,000 years, but he gave 70 for the future generation to King David. That's biblical. That's Jewish history. All right. Now we are in a new era. All right. And we need to understand this trajectory. Now, with Moses, and what's stated in the Bible is that people won't live to more than 120 years. That's the max, until the beginnings of a new era. Okay. This kind of like the beginnings of a messianic era. Now, if you go based on the 6,000-year calendar, we need to kind of focus on some key important dates here. Okay. There's supposed to be an AI in 2029. There's supposed to be human intelligence for AI. AI will reach human intelligence. In 2045, the singularity between AI and humans, so there's this merger between AI and humans in 2045. The 2029 date is from Kurzweil. The 2045 date is also from Kurzweil. Now, Elon Musk thinks that AI will supersede human intelligence by 2027, which is possible. All right. So these dates might actually move a little bit, but we're going based on Kurzweil data. Now, there is a blackout that is going to take place at around 2054. This blackout is something that is where technology seems to be in battle with Luddites, and that there's some sort of blackout that takes place. All right. My understanding, the blackout is going to be human made, not natural made. That blackout is some sort of like energy reduction or energy blackout, where there's going to be a lot of people that will die during the blackout. In 2,240, that's the end of the biblical 6,000-year cycle. All right. And the biblical 6,000-year cycle guarantees the Messianic age. All right. So the Messianic age starts in 2,240. In 2,240, the Messianic age is guaranteed at 2,240, but it can be earlier. Okay. Now, okay, so those are the key dates. Now, let's take a look at what's been happening since Moses' time. Moses dies at 120. And and between Moses and the 1800s, not a whole lot has been happening with technology, right? There's been a slow progression of technology, but it's really during the industrial age where there's a rapid improvement of agriculture, and through that agriculture and urbanization, industrialization, then the spike in populations in the world start to go up. All right. But lifespan was going down from Moses' time to the 1800s. The average life expectancy was about 40. But there were people that lived in their 80s or 90s or 100, right? But the average person died much younger. And I'm sure that even during the biblical times, that the average person did not live to 700 years. They lived much lower than that. Very possible that they lived even below 100. But the point here is that you had these individuals that were able to beat the trend. They were the outliers. Now, in the Bible, it states that no one can surpass the 120 mark until this messianic era starts. Okay, so you had in 18 what is known through record in the 1800s, there was an individual that was documented to have lived 108. So you do have centurions, and centurions go all the way back to even Adam's day, right? But they they were, I would say, more, I think centurions were much more rare between Moses' death and the 1800s. Okay. Centurions were probably more common, but I don't think it was the average in other epochs, right after, let's say, Noah. Okay. But after Noah, people's life expectancy started to go down. Okay. Now, with the 1800s, with technology and with industrialization, you're starting to have more people living in their hundreds or 120. Okay. But it's just kind of starting. Okay. That's the point, at least in documents. Is it possible that in the 1500s or even, the 1200s, there were people that were over 100 years old? It's possible, but there's really no documentation that I know of that proves that. But what is interesting is that if you look at the Big Bang and you had a singularity moment, all right, similar in usage to what Kurzweil's talking about here. But there was a singularity moment in the universe where there was an immense amount of energy released and eventually turns into material. So, first it's plasma, and then it turns into subatomic particles, then protons and electrons, and then you're, moving towards elements, nuclear fission, and fusion that ends up making new elements. Okay. So if you look from the start of the Big Bang to where we're at now, there has been a cooling off of the universe. All right. And you can almost sense that there was this kind of like these moments in time where a big event starts to take place. So there's a cooling off. Let's just assume that this graph, even though it's an age graph, let's just explain this graph in terms of the universe. Okay. Now, the universe is births, right? And there's the high energy level. And then eventually it starts to cool off. And there's a phase transition where going from plasma to subatomic particles and from subatomic particles to protons. And when you go to that point, then you're getting another phase transition. So there's a big drop in energy levels. So going from a high energy state to a lower energy state, and it's plateauing. And then all of a sudden, another big event happens where there's nucleus genesis, nucleogenesis, creating new elements and further cooling of the universe. Okay, and then it plateaus. All right, let's assume this part of the graph is gone. So the Bible story, when you do a descending of the dates, has a similar feature to energy phase transitions at different epochs within the cosmos. Okay. It's not exact, but it has a similarity. Okay. So, okay, now we're going back to just the age, this being an age graph, right, for humans. I'm just using this part of the graph as an analogy of the cosmos phase transition. Okay. It may be right, may be wrong, but there's a similarity there. All right. But through technology, we're starting to improve through better life, and there are people that are now moving towards the 120 again, back in the Moses' time. All right. So we have these centurions. The farthest one that I know that is documented, that proof of documentation, is someone that lived in this is 1800s. Okay. Now, in 1997, the oldest person known, documented, to have lived is 122. Now, that doesn't mean there are not others. It's just the oldest documented one. And there have been many, many centurions since then in certain regions of the world, like Japan, in blue zones, right? What they call the blue zones. All right. So now let's fast forward. All right, we're at in 1997, but now we're in 2024. In 2024. And in 2024, we're only 5 years away, potentially even 3 years away from a major AI breakthrough. Okay, so let's just assume that Kurzweil's right, that we have human intelligence in AI, but AI is going to be able to do social learning through other AI systems. And that intelligence level is going to have a breakaway from humans. So the ones that are born in this year are going to benefit greatly by breakthroughs in AI. Okay. Through medical discovery, through in silico simulation. And the big pharma and the medical industry and the medical scientists are going to be able to use some of this AI to increase people's lifespan, cure diseases, treat diseases, slow down the aging process. We're already seeing people aging slower. I'm actually one of them. I'm one of those people that are aging slower because of lifestyle. And that's diet, exercise, and maybe a little bit of genetics, but I think a big part of it is lifestyle. So with that said, more and more people are moving towards the centurion world and hitting the 120 mark and having vitality as they're moving up to the 100-year mark. Okay. But what's different from Moses's time and to 1997 is technology. But what's really different from 1997 to 2024 is the birthing of AI and the fast pace of medical discovery, especially through simulation. All right, so with this, people that are born in 2024 are going to benefit greatly and push the the age of individuals to the 200s. All right. That would mean that someone born in 2024 benefiting from the AI medical breakthroughs will now live to 200. So that would mean that they start dying off in the year 2224, which is very, very close to the 6,000 year cycle. Now, there is a few caveats and a few positive caveats and a few maybe negative caveats. The positive caveats are that these medical breakthroughs may actually expand the life expectancy, not only of the ones that are born in 2024, but these medical breakthroughs may actually extend the life expectancy greatly for the ones that are 50 years old or 40 years old or 30 years old right now in 2024. So by the time 2224 comes around, they may actually surpass the 200 range. All right. So medical breakthroughs aren't going to be just for the ones that are born in 2024, but also these medical breakthroughs are going to help to extend life for the ones that are already born, already living today. Okay. Now, some people, not everyone's going to benefit from multiple reasons, even the ones that are being born in 2024. This 200 doesn't mean everybody. That just means that there are going to be outliers. So, but the prevalence of the outliers are going to be a higher prevalence. Okay. The average person may still, maybe die at age 100. But the prevalence of these outliers are going to be larger. And the ones that are going to be able to benefit are going to be ones that follow a direction based on what the AI says increases your probability of long life and taking advantage of the medical breakthroughs. But the problem comes in is that if there are economic disparities, some people may not be able to benefit from this breakthrough because of their socioeconomic status. They may not be able to afford it. They may not know about it. Wars, whatever. Something's going to prevent people from fully benefiting. Part of it's through lifestyle choice. Others, it's going to be because of socioeconomic situation or negative externalities of just human existence, like wars. All right. Now, so the takeaway here is that this AI revolution in medicine in 2029 is going to benefit many people that are born today if they take advantage of the medical breakthroughs in terms of what to eat, how to lifestyle, what the best way for lifestyle, and also when disease does happen, having treatments and cures for those diseases. Okay. Now, there's something to be taken away in lessons learned from cancer and HIV patients. More and more people are surviving cancer, even though there's no cure. And there's still many people that suffer from cancer. But the ones that have survived, especially in the 10, 20-year mark, they are starting to get age-related cancer treatment symptoms, okay? And those symptoms from their cancer treatment because of radiation or chemo have aged organs. Same thing with the therapy for people that are on the therapy that prevents the viral load of HIV. People that have been on medication to prevent their HIV from getting out of control have accelerated their age. So there's these new kind of symptoms of HIV patients and cancer patients for, let's say, heart disease or liver disease or memory or bone loss. There's what they're noticing are accelerated aging in these patients. Even though they beat their cancer, they have their HIV controlled, they're aging faster. All right. So there's something to be learned by this idea that when we expand our life, we may also start seeing other diseases start to manifest that are age-related diseases. All right. Now, some of these breakthroughs that are going to be taking place with AI are going to be how to treat some of these age-related diseases or these manifestations of diseases that were due to long chronic treatment, such as cancer and such as HIV. But the AI is going to not only have cures and treatments for certain diseases and many diseases, but it will also have a protocol or a series of things that one could do that helps to slow down the aging process if one followed. All right. Now, we kind of have that algorithm now with some of these longevity experts through proper diet, exercise, whatever. And they're pushing the limits to where these longevity people will, assuming there's no breakthrough in medical AI. Let's assume that for a second. Just the human algorithm of longevity through diet and exercise, people are going to punch through to over 120 years, maybe 130. I don't know, but it's going to be past the 120 mark. All right. For a lot of these longevity experts, assuming no medical breakthrough in AI. But with medical breakthrough of AI, the ones that can benefit from taking use of the medical protocol from the AI are going to take and extend even beyond the 130 mark. And these people are going to be 200 and plus. I know this sounds crazy. All right. But there are going to be people that are living today that are slowing their aging process, either in their 20s or they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s. They're slowing their process down and they're maybe 20 years younger, and they're going to be able to benefit from the AI breakthrough that will take place in 2029. And that will push them over over the 200 plus year mark. So the point I'm making here is that people that are living today that are radically following an anti-aging protocol, radically following a longevity protocol, that they are increasing their odds of hitting the 200 plus year mark, 200 plus years of life. Okay. Now, as they are expanding into 2224, there's going to be further advancement in medicine that could even potentially push them even beyond 200 plus years. The point here is that this singularity, there's like two singularities happening here. There's a singularity with AI and humans in 2045. Now, I'll go into more detail in another video on some of the pluses and minuses to that and what I think will happen with the dystopia and how the blackout is going to affect this singularity. Okay. But just set aside that whole transhumanist AI merging. I'm not a fan of AI merging with humans. All right. But I do think that AI can be used as a means to understand the universe better, to give us tools to be able to advance our technology in our existence for the better. Um, Now, of course, certain types of technology could make things worse because, as I've said in previous videos, a steak knife can cut a steak, but it also can kill someone. So it depends on how you use the technology, depends on if it's going to be positive social change or negative social change. Now, with AI's breakthrough, you're going to have people that are going to be hitting the 200-year plus mark. Now, they're going to mean that there's a social dynamic that happens here. And that is that when people realize that they can live longer and they have a positive outlook and want to live longer, they're going to do positive things in their life to make sure that they can live the longest life they can. But there are other people that have self-destructive behavior. They 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 destroy their body and their mind to the point where they're not going to benefit from the AI medical breakthroughs. They may, instead of dying at age 40 or 50, they may be able to extend it to 90, maybe even to 100 for these ones that are more self-destructive. But the ones that are not self-destructive can benefit more from the AI breakthrough. And the ones that are born today are also going to benefit greatly, even if they have some self-destructive behavior in their early years, and let's say in their teens. But the thing is that if people are more pure in terms of making decisions in their life that are the best for their health and mental well-being, then these individuals are going to benefit the most from the AI breakthroughs in terms of in personalized precision protocols for longevity for that individual and the precision medicine for that individual when diseases do start to arise. So the point here is that there are many people out there that can benefit from this AI medical breakthrough that's going to be taking place in 2029, maybe even 2027. There's a big medical breakthrough that's going to be happening in 2029. Some of these medical breakthroughs in the beginning are only going to be for people that can afford it. It could be for the uber wealthy. There are going to be others that won't be able to afford it, but because of their lifestyle choices, will be able to benefit from when the technology becomes cheaper. All right. So finding ways to truncate your life is really important. So you can benefit from this medical breakthrough that's going to be taking place in 2029. Now, in another video, we'll go into the singularity and the blackout. All right. I've already done a video about, the 6,000-year cycle and the Messianic age in 2,240. But the thing is that that's guaranteed. It could happen earlier. But and that's based on Jewish principles here. But maybe I'll do a short video about a recap on that. But the thing is that there's going to be a jump, just like how the universe and how the age step down. The universe's energy levels step down through different phase transitions. Well, we had the same thing with our biblical age of people in descending order. There was a step down, right? And then eventually, it got to the point where it was averaging about 80. But there's going to be a ramp up a fast ramp up because of this advancement in artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, the universe had this kind of step down of energy, just like how our body can heal itself and it has ATP. As we get older, our energy levels start to go down too. Our bodies are mimicking the entropy of the universe. But through this medical breakthrough in AI, in providing precision protocols that will treat and prevent disease and add longevity to an individual and slow down the aging process, what will happen is that people will regain their energy, and this entropy will be almost reversed. And you won't have that same breakdown, that typical breakdown of age. Now, my gut feeling here is this, that if AI did not happen, and we just had just better diet, exercise, and didn't have destructive personalities, and we were more spiritual, that our ages would start to tick up, especially for the outliers, would start to tick up into about the 200 and the 250 range and probably plateau out. But with AI and fine tuning what one can do, the advancements in technology, assuming that mankind doesn't destroy itself, but the advancements in 200 years from now cannot even be fathomed. So, in 1800, they had no idea the way we would be living. And the same thing, that even we have a modern high-tech society today, it's going to be far more advanced in 2224. Now, if I remember right, I thought Star Trek was the 23rd century. Maybe it was the 21st century, but if it was the 23rd century, we're talking about Star Trek here type technology. All right. Assuming mankind doesn't blow itself up. All right. Or an asteroid hits or whatever. But the point here is that people there are going to be people living today that will punch through the 200 plus year life expectancy. They'll live beyond 200 years because they are benefiting from the AI medical breakthroughs. But it's not going to be everybody, because there's going to be a price barrier. People won't be able to afford it for some treatments, but over time, those treatments will reduce in price. So there's going to be kind of an Elysium kind of effect in the very beginning of this, where only the super wealthy are going to be able to pay for it. But many of the super wealthy didn't have the lifestyle to be able to fully benefit from this AI breakthrough, medical breakthrough. So if they had a bad lifestyle, but they want to live forever, they may not fully benefit, and they may live, let's say, to 125 or 100, 150 because they had a bad lifestyle, but they could afford the treatments. But the ones that had a good lifestyle that could afford the treatments, they're going to punch through the 200 plus year mark. And the ones that stayed pure and pay and are born this year in 2024, and their bodies are they live a life in an environment that is conducive for longevity and aren't in self-destructive mode, then they're going to be able to also benefit, even if they're in a social economic middle class kind of situation. they'll be able to benefit greatly and punch through the 200-year mark. The ones that are in poverty, most likely their environment will be such that they do not have the environmental conditions to be able to benefit from the AI, even through lifestyle, to be able to punch through the 200 plus life expectancy. For the ones that are poor that have a predisposition for longevity, they may go beyond the 120-year mark that are born today. They're born in 2024. So that means that they'll live to about 2,100 and roughly 2,144. All right, maybe a little bit beyond that. So there are going to be different people that are going to be benefiting from this medical AI. The rich, but they're most likely not going to punch through the 200 if they had a poor lifestyle. If they have a great lifestyle in terms of longevity and they had the money, they're going to punch through the 200 plus. The ones that are the longevity experts that have prepared their body to slow down the aging process, they will also benefit from this AI medical breakthrough, but a little bit downstream from the ones that are the rich class. Now, so I have this feeling that there are people that are living today that are aging slower, that have been taking care of their body over a long duration of time, not 3 years, but like decades. These people will be able to benefit, even if they can't afford the ultra high-tech treatments, but they will benefit from the medical breakthroughs that AI will provide that starts in 2029. Now, it'll be more downstream because they can't afford it. Maybe they won't be able to benefit until 2050. But the point here is that these longevity types have designed their body in a way where they'll be able to benefit. So there's about, I think, 1,000, maybe just under 2,000 people that are living today that will be living beyond 200 years. If they are able to tap into the medical breakthroughs, but they have to have the lifestyle change. They have to have the lifestyle change and be able to benefit from this medical technology, either in the first gen of the medical technology or in the second or third generation of the medical technology. This gets us back to this concept of Gen Zero. Because there's an exponential aspect to the AI medical breakthrough up to a certain point, and it's too far into the future on knowing where the plateau is. But this AI customization, precision longevity is going to further compound the effects of the early adopters. Now, it's possible that these early adopters that are targeted for 200 plus may actually go to 450 plus through the exponential of medical AI breakthrough. Okay. The point here is that there's a huge jump from 120 to 200. There's going to be another big jump from 200 to maybe 350 or 450, and then another big jump. All right. So someone that is living today, I don't know why it's doing that. I didn't want someone that is living today, let's say, and they're not doing anything crazy like stem cell injection, but they're just doing a longevity protocol. All right. They're possible to live 120 plus with no AI breakthrough. With an AI breakthrough, so this is AI breakthrough, and this is just normal or non AI breakthrough. Okay. With an AI breakthrough for a longevity person, that's going to take them to the 200 plus year mark. For now, the people that are they're non-longevity experts, non-AI, they may move their life expectancy to 80 to 90, maybe even 100. So let's be generous and say 100 so you get an idea where I'm going with this. Okay. This is the non-longevity expert. This is the longevity expert. So non-longevity expert with AI breakthrough, they punch through and get to about 130 or maybe 150. Okay. So this gives you an idea what my thinking process here, where if someone is in a longevity protocol or is a longevity expert, right? And is living the life of that is conducive for longevity, they're going to be able to benefit from this breakthrough, right? But they'll also benefit even if there is no breakthrough. But there's a big jump. There's this big jump because the concepts of aging, of aging of the heart and aging of the brain and the liver and the kidney, of the bones, right? We're going to be able to reverse that over time. All right. And AI is going to allow this to happen. AI is going to give us the roadmap to be able to do this for with different types of treatments. Now, maybe some of these treatments are going to be stem cell related treatments. Some of them may be actually just run of the mill, certainly do this and that. And, there's a compound effect, right? Like, for example, people have noticed that you can slow down cardiovascular disease when you couple certain types of medications with metformin. So, there's these things that could potentially happen. Now, when time goes on and we get AI plus, I'll call AI plus, AI plus is an is building on through those breakthroughs. So this breakthrough is taking place in 2029. But in AI plus plus, we may have another breakthrough in 2045, right? So these longevity experts, because they were projected to live to, let's say this person is 50 years old at this moment in time. Non-AI, they're projected to live beyond 120. But this 50-year-old is now, with the AI breakthrough, is projected to live to 200. This 50-year-old, without a non-AI breakthrough, is, because of just medical technology, let's say, is able to get to 100. There's more 100, right? But this person, non-longevity type, may, with an AI breakthrough, live to 150. Okay. With the AI plus plus, this individual may hit the 200 mark. Well, this individual may hit the 450 mark plus. Okay. So this is what I mean by being able to benefit from the compound effect of technology and following this anti-aging protocol. So this 50-year-old that's on an anti-aging protocol lifestyle, non-AI breakthrough, is most likely going to live beyond 120. Maybe 122, maybe 123, but around 120, a little bit above. With an AI breakthrough, there's a radical jump to the 200s. And then another AI breakthrough, really this should be like AI plus. This would be 450. All right. Now, think about this for a sec. This person, the longevity expert, is 50. These people are 50 years old today in 2024. All right. In 2029, right, they are going to be 55. Right. And in 2020, 45, so 45 in 2045, so 45 minus 29 is what? 16. Okay, so you have 55 oh, plus 16. All right, so this person in 2045 will be 72. So you're a 72-year-old that will benefit no matter which category you're in. The longevity category, by 2045, you're 71 years old chronologically, but you're targeted for a 450-year life expectancy. While a non longevity person by 2045 is 71, and they're just about normally would die, but with an AI breakthrough, they would reach 200. So you see this is the point I'm making is that, and of course, I might be a little bit off on the numbers, but you see the main dynamics by having the compound effect of longevity. You're being able to radically benefit from the exponential benefits from AI medical breakthroughs. And it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. It's a 250-year difference between a person that does not and a person that does. Right? Now, there are some social dynamics that will happen. Now, again, this is not going to be everybody, but a big part of these people in this first wave is going to be about 1,000 or 2,000 people. All right. But you're going to have people that, even if they're not longevity, they start to slowly age. So there's going to be two curves, a rapid curve and then a curve that kind of slowly grows. That's the point I'm making here. Now, in, let's say, 2,100, so we go AI plus plus, right? It's very possible that people may live to 1,000 years. Or let's say, let's give it the benefit of the doubt and just say 950 years plus, Noah level, okay? Now, when you're in 2,100, okay, in 2,100, someone that is 50 now will be 126 in 2,100. And so you can see that they are relatively young to where they're going, their life expectancy may go with this accelerated version. The key takeaway on this is the key is to stay on a longevity, stay on an anti-aging protocol. Okay. Now, there are these terms called not die by Brian Johnson, or don't die. He has this term called don't die. Okay. This term here is stating that if you die, you're not going to benefit from this major breakthrough that's going to be taking place soon. Now, there's going to be some people that benefit from it greatly because of socioeconomic situation, because of their lifestyle, right? And there are going to be others that will benefit at a slower trajectory for life expectancy. for ones that could not afford it and did not have the lifestyle. Okay. So now, of course, I could be wrong a little bit on the numbers, plus or minus the, a certain amount, but the main concept here is pretty solid. The key is that if there's no AI breakthrough, which is possible, longevity people are going to be averaging above 120. People that don't, through just the average medical breakthroughs without AI, are going to inch up towards becoming centurion. Okay. Now, for ones that are going, let's say there are AI breakthroughs, there's going to be compound effects with AI breakthrough and AI plus and AI plus plus and AI plus plus plus, right? That will push this to a point where there is probably going to be a plateau, right? Now, some people may want to die at age 80. Some people may want to die at age 800. Some people may want to push it even farther, right? But the point here is that there's going to be major breakthroughs in medicine through the use of AI. Now, there are singularity types. I'll do this in another video, but there are singularity types that think there's going to be a merger with AI and humans. All right. And that you're going to be less human and you're going to be just code, right? I disagree with that. I think what's going to happen is AI is going to be a tool. And that tool is going to be used to be able to add longevity, and that humans are going to become more spiritual beings, but they are also going to live longer lives. There is this dystopic situation that could take place where the ones that are trying to use AI to control people, there is going to be the battle between what I call the monks and the transhumanists. And that battle, the monks are going to try to knock out the Achilles heel of AI, which is energy. And through that knockout, this is the inverse of the benefits of AI through medical breakthroughs. Through the knockout, there's going to be major social disruption, food supply disruption, and death and destruction. So there's going to be a massive die-off in the blackout. And when I say massive die-off, I would say 90% of the human population will die. So, we're moving. I mean, I'll do another video to try to explain some of my thinking on this, on this part of it, the blackout and the singularity. But assuming that this blackout, that we can manage this and have civil liberties and not have totalitarians, trying to control us through AI. There's going to be major breakthroughs in life expectancy, and it's not going to be incremental. It's going to be quantum. That's the big point here. It's quantum. Okay, it's a quantum thing. So like in AI plus plus for a non-longevity person, you may be hitting the 450 mark. Okay, so there's you can see this trend that's taking place here, you know. So you're going, you're adding, adding 50 years, and then another 50 years, and then another, and then it jumps to 250, right? But here the acceleration is higher with the longevity people. Now, of course, some of these longevity people may get hit by a car and they die early, right? But the point here is that there are going to be more and more outliers, right? Now, this is probably we're talking probably the 5 standard deviation, not 5 standard deviation, let me, 3 standard deviation, right? For these people, we're not in the standard deviation, of 1. So we're like in the 3 standard deviations for these people. The standard deviation, the average person that's not longevity type, that's not going to, that's not going to, they're in the standard deviation, they may live to maybe the 80s. Right. And then if there's an AI breakthrough, then maybe they hit to the 120s. And then with the AI plus, then maybe they will, let me just move this. Maybe they would be at about 200. No, that would be maybe 150. And then, maybe they hit to 300, something like that. Right. So this is like a standard. This is like a 3 sigma, 3 sig, and 3 sig. So, and this is an anti-aging protocol. This is non-anti-aging. And this is right here. I'm sorry, this is 1 sigma. And this is non-anti-aging. So you get an idea on how people are going to be different with the way they may benefit from AI. But the key is that if you can live long enough to the breakthrough, right, and you take care of your body and you follow what the AI is saying in terms of how to maximize your life expectancy, what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to live longer. And the people that don't want to follow it, right? Then their life expectancies are gonna, stay at the 80 to the 120 mark. They'll probably plateau at about 100 or 120. But that's kind of like my mind. And of course, there's maybe a, some some plus minus on the data here, but this is my thought process. You know, this idea that there's going to be a compound effect, and that if you've already prepared your body for it, or you're a newborn, you are going to benefit from the AI breakthrough more than ones that haven't prepared for this transition. And you're not there. Your people may not benefit as much. Now, here's the kind of the moral dilemma here, or there's kind of an ethical kind of question here. Ones that follow the protocol and have gotten their body to a point where they can benefit from the AI breakthrough and punch through the 200 plus barrier, that will be people may start having this idea, well, they can live forever and therefore they may become less ethical. Or they may say, you know what, I can reverse this self-destructive damage, I can reverse destruction. So they decide to be more self-destructive. And maybe they wouldn't live to 200 plus years, but they live to 150. So some people in the longevity world may say, well, I'm living such a long life, I can be self-destructive for a decade. These people here who are not following a longevity protocol may have something similar, where they say, you know what, I'm going to benefit from an AI breakthrough and live to 150, and I'll be self-destructive, and I'll live, and through that self-destruction, I'll be able to live to 100 instead of living to 150. So some people may increase their self-destruction because they know that they'll be able to live longer. In addition, people may actually have kids because through this breakthrough, most likely fertility could be later in life. Like remember Abraham, he had children, he started having children when he was already 100 years old, over 100 years old, and same thing with Sarah. So we may actually start seeing that people are having children at a later age. Now, so there's going to be some social changes that may take place. But age is the aging process is going to radically change for many individuals. And I think that there are 1,000 to 2,000 people living today that will benefit from this AI breakthrough and punch through the 200-year mark. And there will be people that are not following an anti-aging protocol that will be able to benefit from an AI breakthrough and get to about 150. The people that are going to live to 150, there may this number the number of people doing this may actually be more because there's more people that are non-longevity protocol enthusiasts versus ones that are following the longevity protocol. So, but not everyone's going to benefit. Remember, this is a 3 sigma thing, right? So not everyone's going to benefit. But then there are going to be more people that are the 1 sigma, the average. An AI breakthrough may get them to Moses's age of 120. So, but there are people that are going to be punching through the 200 plus, and by punching through the 200 plus, then you're going to get the added compound benefits of AI plus and AI plus plus and AI plus 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 and on and on and on, right? Because you can just see here, someone that's 50 years old now, by the time 2100 comes around, they're only 126. Well, that's going to put them in the range where they're going to be able to benefit the 950 plus long years of longevity. So this concept, is what I wanted to get on the video so you get an idea of what I've been thinking about here. And I'll do another video about this and some other thoughts about the singularity, the blackout, and the 6,000-year cycle ending. But there's this key. There's this key takeaway. The key to stay on an anti-aging protocol, right? And the idea of not to die, because by dying, you're going to miss the AI breakthrough and the benefits of the AI plus and the AI plus plus. People need to get to 2029 and people need to get to 2045. That's the key. That's the key, because there's going to be huge AI medical breakthroughs. Now, there is a negative feedback loop on this, and that is the blackout. And this is the battle between the monks and the transhumanists. So, and I'll do that in another video. Please help support my work by subscribing to all my channels. I have 4 channels on YouTube. I have Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble. Click the links in the description of this video and all my videos. You can also help support my work by donating through Stripe, PayPal, or buy me a coffee on my website, the-studio-reykjavik.com. Click the link in the description of this video to get to my website and donate if you would like. Please be a paid member on my Patreon channel so you can get the latest ideas that I have, and you're supporting me being able to do videos like this. And I am grateful for the ones that have supported for 4 years. In addition, follow the protocol. I have lots of supplements. I have a protocol that if you follow, you're going to slow down the aging process. All right. I have new products that are coming online next month that's gonna augment the protocol. I don't want to bring them up right now, but it's something that I've been experimenting with, and they will be available next month. So please go to the store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and follow my advice. Take the Max 35, take a teaspoon of it a day to neutralize pathogens. Take a teaspoon of C60. That's a very strong antioxidant. It's going to help to boost up the health of your mitochondria and help to increase your energy levels and bring down those reactive oxygen species. Take turmeric and ashwagandha. It brings down inflammation and controls your blood glucose levels. Take vitamin D3. That helps to get rid of cells that have been infected. It helps with apoptosis. It's also a gene expression cofactor. Omega-3, really important for controlling your lipid profile. It helps with cardiovascular disease. But also, omega-3 is known to prevent red blood cells from sticking. My digestive enzyme complex, really important because it breaks down carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins to help with energy absorption. It helps to reduce the load on your pancreas, and it is proteolytic and fibrinolytic. What that means is that it would break apart glycoproteins and break apart fibrin in clots. So really important to take the digestive enzyme complex. And lignans, very important. It's a powder you should be taking every day to help boost up your immune system. So if you follow my advice here with proper supplementation, proper diet, which I'll go into more detail in another video, proper exercise, which I will go in more detail in another video, proper balancing and proper mental training and mindfulness, all these synergistically will slow down the aging process. And you are going to be you are preparing yourself for the breakthroughs that are happening between 2029 and 2045. All right. The people that follow are going to benefit. The people that don't follow are not going to benefit. Not everyone is going to reach the 200 plus. There are going to be about 1,000 to 2,000 people that are living on this planet right now that are going to go beyond the 200 plus mark. Not everybody, but many people are going to be benefiting from the things that are going to be taking place with the discoveries in longevity, in proper nutrition, proper diet, exercise. All right. Now, it's up to you. If you choose not to do it, that's your choice, but that's a choice. And everyone should, have a choice, right? I believe in choice. But the people that decide not to die are the ones that are going to be benefiting from these huge AI medical breakthroughs and eclipse what we just went through in 2020. So I have looked into some of these things, and you need to pay attention because if you don't, you're not going to benefit from it. Thank you for listening. Please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and get those products and follow my protocol. And you're going to see improvements in your health, improvements in your immune system, and you are preparing yourself to benefit from the AI medical breakthrough that's going to be taking place soon. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.